grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a blankie, get comfy, and let's talk about everything I read in 2024. Hello, book friends. It's Alyssa. Welcome back to the channel. Hello, if you are new. Again, apologies for the glasses. You're going to get glare. I don't really care about it. I'm going to do my best to make this quick like I do every year. And like every year, as Mercy is screaming at us, I don't make it quick because I read too many books. So we are going to quickly go through my Storygraph stats from 2024, and then we're going to hop in to everything I read in 2024. And I'm going to kind of yay, nay, try to do this rapid fire. I try to do this rapid fire every year. I get distracted somewhere. I might have forgotten a few of these books. It's an interesting trip down memory lane. So let's do it. Let's start with Storygraph. So last year I read 191 books, which was 65,001 pages. It took me about 10 days to finish a book. And my moods were, as we should expect if you've been following along at home: emotional, reflective, dark, mysterious. Adventurous, I think, is new for me. Sad, and then, all the happy sort of things are at the bottom. Pace, we are mostly medium paced, which seems to be right on pace. I hate myself. It's basically what I expect to see. Some books are slow. I haven't read a lot of fast-paced books, which is a little bit strange to me, but okay, moving on. We're pretty much split between 300 to 500 pages and under 300 pages, with only a few chunky books there from 2024. I don't think it was a big chunky book year. Maybe this will be my year of chunky books. We'll see. We'll see what 2025 brings. So far, it's brought a TikTok ban, a TikTok refresh, an inauguration. Maybe I'll read some chunky books. What else do I got to do while society implodes? Nonfiction, I am basically out at 80-20 split. We've been doing that for most of the year. So it's 19% nonfiction, 81% fiction. My genres are vast. Right at the top of the list, top 5, we have literary, historical, fantasy, classic, and romance. There was a decent amount of horror. The gay books are not as many as I thought, but I guess they are tied with romance contemporary. So it is pretty damn gay. We love that. My most read authors, which I really like this little stat that they added in. Right at the top is Robin Hobb. There will be more Hobbs in 2025, so expect to see that again next year about this time. Jane Austen, of course. Rachel Smythe, who wrote the Lore Olympus series, or webtoon series. I've been reading a lot of her graphic novels throughout the year. Rebecca Thorne, of course. Virginia Woolf. Claudia Pinheiro. S.T. Gibson's got a couple on here. Liz Spector's got a couple on here. Ocean Vuong's got a couple on here. And Deanna Raybourn. I need to get back to that series. That's what this is reminding me. I think I'm just going to include this just so you can see like the number of pages and the number of books that I read throughout the year, month by month, and how like erratic it is. I was really taking like a slow dip while I got injured and all of that. And then we started this reading challenge in December and it just went phew. So that's fun. And then finally, my average rating, we're missing one book because it was like a craft book for writing. I didn't rate it. So the average rating was 3.85, which is fairly good. That's almost 4 stars. That is a really good reading year, I think. It's got highs, it's got lows, it's interesting. I'm here for it. I do think I have some DNF, so let's see what's in my DNF pile here. Oh, they're giving me all the books that I DNF'd last year. That's not correct. I'm going to put in a number for my DNF books. There's a number somewhere. We'll stick it on the screen. I DNF'd a handful of books this year, not that many. I should have DNF'd more. Anyway, moving on to the Bookly. I feel like I did this a different way last year, and I can't figure out how to do that. There's been a lot of changes to the Bookly app. So let's just jump in. I'll go year by year. We'll go month by month. Okay. All right. So I read an essay collection. It's 2 essays by Cynthia Zarin, 2 cities. They're both about, I think they're about Venice and Rome, I want to say. Actually really enjoyed these. If you like a good travel writing, do it. The God of Endings. Great vampire book that I wasn't expecting to be a great vampire book. Definitely recommend. To Wear a Demon Crown, romantasy, final book in a series that I was reading at the end of 2023. Loved it. Great. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's my kind of breath of fresh air book. Paradise Rot, Jenny Haval. This was grotesque and I enjoyed it. If you like moody girl books that are dark and gross, read it. The Sea at the End of Everything by Emily McCosh, indie author that I love, that I support like all their Kickstarters for. This is like a fairy tale kind of like story. It's dark. It's about sisters. It's about what are those creatures that come out of the sea? With the horses, whatever they are. It's interesting. I enjoy it. It's very lyrical. I like her writing. It's not going to be for everybody again, but I say read it. The Salt Black Tree by Lilith St. Crow is the final in a duology. Did not like the first one. Definitely did not like the second one. I say skip it. It's a little bit boring. Brideshead Revisited. Loved. I love this. Particularly liked reading it after watching Saltburn. And I want to read Vile Bodies by Evelyn Waugh. Robin Hobb. We started the journey. Assassin's Apprentice. Yes, they're all going to be yeses from me. Just be prepared for dead animals, okay? Possession, a romance, A.S. Byatt, surprise, loved this. It was nostalgic. It was like slow, but in this really luscious way. Absolutely adored this. Please read it if you like a slower book that's exquisitely written. Miss Iceland, I'm not even going to try to say this author's name. I love this. This is about, I'm not supposed to be telling you what they're all about, but basically it's about a woman writer in Iceland during like the 60s or something like that. It also talks about like gay rights and feminism and all that jazz, and loved it. Madame Restell, fantastic nonfiction about this abortionist in the time of the Comstock laws. Great, fun ride, bonkers, informative. Please read. Body Grammar, I don't really remember very much. I guess you can skip it. I think it's like one of those moody coming of age kind of stories. I think somebody dies at a party and they have to process it. And it was fine. Ultimately kind of forgettable. Beautyland, I wasn't as impressed with this as I wanted to be. Essentially, she's just like autistic coded, and I really wanted her to actually be talking to aliens. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't going in the directions I really wanted it to go, but I guess it was fine. I don't know why this got so much hype last year. Poor Dear, yes. All Claire Oshetsky books, just read them. They're good. They're phenomenal. The Hearing Trumpet, loved. It's bonkers. There's a review on the channel. I've talked about it enough. We love Leonora Carrington. Ariel by Sylvia Plath. It was actually a really good collection. There were some questionable poems. I feel like Sylvia Plath may have some questionable leanings in terms of maybe like Judaism and race. I don't know, but in general, I enjoyed the poems, and I want to know more about Plath because I just feel like she's a very interesting person. So one day I will get to Red Comet, but that's a very big book. Against the Loveless World. How many times can I recommend this book? Read it, read it, read it. Sense and Sensibility began my year of Jane Austen. I'm going to say read all the Jane Austens, even the ones that weren't my favorite, because they all have excellent things about them. Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley, I think, is getting a new edition for the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth, which is this year. Keep your eye out for that because I think it's either out now or it's coming out. This one's great. I love Lucy Worsley. She's a great historian, and this is a really lovely sort of biography of Jane Austen. Royal Assassin, Robin Hobb, yes. The House of Flame and Shadow. This book irritated me to no end. That's not how black holes work. I will die on this hill. This bothered me. I think the fans came up with a better way to mesh all of Sarah J. Maas's worlds together than she did. Ultimately, disappointment. Skip. Iliac Crust by Cristina Rivera Garza. They have her newest one sitting off to the side here that I need to get to. Dark, mysterious, about women disappearing. It's very good. I say yes. Most ardently is a trans retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was heartwarming. I loved Mr. Bennet's relationship with his children and how supportive he was. Yeah, I mean, if Austen pastiche and spin-offs are your thing, I would read it. Filter World was on my best book nonfiction books of 2024, so of course I think you should read this, especially with everything going on with TikTok and Meta and all the shit our government is doing. I think it's interesting to look at how algorithms are messing with us. Yeah, anyway. Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. This, I feel like the further I got away from it, the less impressed I was with it. But I wonder if I circled back and read it, would I still be blown away? I say read it just for the experience, but there have been some like mixed bag reviews from some of my friends. So if you haven't read it yet, come back and do it, read it, and tell me what you thought. Here we go. Lore Olympus Volume 3. There's going to be a lot of these. Yes, every time you see one. I didn't like Vengeance is Mine. I feel like my problem with Marie Day is that she writes really beautiful sentences, but when she puts them together into stories, I don't like the stories. I just don't like them. I find them boring, or the plot doesn't go where I want it to go. It's just, I don't find a satisfying reading experience. And it's frustrating because, again, she puts together beautiful sentences. So, no, for me. More Lore Olympus. Yes, yes. I love Can't Spell Treason Without T. I did an interview with Rebecca Thorne. I love this little series. I know some people think it's a little bit drawn out. The pacing's a little funky, but I just love it. I love it. I love baked goods and tea and healthy relationships with decent communication. I loved it. And that's February. On to March. Okay. We're only on the first quarter and I'm already tired. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. Yes. Of course, Whose Names Are Unknown by Sonora Babb. I need to read more Babb. I've read this now twice. I love this book about the Dust Bowl. I highly recommend Sonora Babb. A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayborn. I don't know why I keep stopping this series. I read like 1 or 2 books and then I forget that I'm reading this mystery series, the Veronica Speedwell series. So good, so funny, such a good time. I might pick up the 3rd one this month now that I'm thinking about it. I recommend, even though for some reason I can't seem to stay and keep reading the damn series. Ballad of Sea and Sky is another romantasy that I enjoy from that same author that wrote the Demon and Crown one. I finally have the 2nd one of this, so I do need to finish it. It's silly. It's like a fluff popcorny book, but I love it. It's a good like palate cleanser for me. The Lonely City by Olivia Lang. I need to read more Olivia Lang because this was phenomenal. It sent me down so many rabbit holes of different artists and stories and people I didn't know about. Yes, definitely read this essay. I guess it's an essay collection. I do love Ostrom Vong. Night Sky with Exit Wounds, phenomenal. Found this in a thrift store. Great collection of poetry. I'm a sucker for Ocean Vong. Fruit of the Dead by Rachel Lyon. I waffled on whether or not to put this on my favorites of 2024 because I think about it more and more, and I actually really liked this. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling, but it's a little bit more like Persephone and Demeter? Maybe I said that wrong. Anyway, and her mom. Than it is so much about Persephone and Hades. And it's modern day. It brings in like pharmacy, like pharmaceutical companies, greed, CEOs. It's good. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that should have been on my faves list. Time as a Mother by Ocean Vong. So good. It's so good. Great collection. I should have reread On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. That's the full title, right? On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Because he has a new book coming out this year, and I'm very excited for it. I actually have to pre-order it. I haven't pre-ordered it. Anyway, A Study in Drowning, Ava Reed. I did not like this. I just found it frustrating. The vibes are great. The atmosphere is great. But like, no. Deadweight, love this essay collection on eating disorders. I think it's really important. I think it's prescient. I think it's just go read it. James Percival Everett, loved it. Yes. Assassin's Quest. Yes. The Mermaid of Black Conch. This was fantastic. I loved this. I don't know why I didn't put this on my favorites. Maybe it got like piled down on underneath a bunch of other things. This is really, really good. Please read this. Weird Fox by Lynn Tillman. No. No. I felt like I was looking at somebody else's like snapshots or reading some stranger's diary with zero context. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are. Maybe I should, but I didn't, and I just felt lost, and I didn't think the fucks were that weird. I fell in love with Hope by Lankali. I forgot I even read this. Oh my god. Purple prosy. But I guess if you have a chronic illness, or if you're a young kid who's been in and out of hospitalization with chronic illnesses and you've basically been living in hospitals, this is a great collection. This is a great story for you. It has its pluses. It really wasn't for me. Uh, but I guess if you have somebody that's struggling with that, or you know somebody who's struggling with that, they might feel seen a bit by reading this. A Botanical Daughter was actually really interesting. I really liked this mix of like fungi and Frankenstein and queer history and Victoriana. Yes, I say yes. White Nights by Dostoevsky. I don't really like Dostoevsky. I just don't like how he writes women. I don't like how this people like gush over this like it's a romance. It's like romantical or something, or unrequited love. It's oh no, I'm not even gonna go down this rabbit hole. I did this in my April wrap up. I'm not doing it again. I didn't like it. I say skip. But I will eventually read like The Idiot and Brothers Karamazov, because like I kind of need to know if there's something I like of Dostoevsky's, because I don't know. I'm just so confused about how I feel about this author. Anyway, Pride and Prejudice, always a yes. Hours, always a no. This book was too ambitious, I think, is what the problem is. It was trying to do too much. The magical realism didn't hit. It didn't stick the landing. It ended up being a slog. Excellent Women by Barbara Pym. Yes, yes, yes. There will be more Pym on this channel. Though I started doing a little research into her as a person, and like, why is there always some skeleton in everybody's closets? Anyway, the Darcy Myth, absolutely hell no, not with a 10-foot pole. Do not touch it. Do not look at it. Do not pass go. Just throw it in a puddle. I did not like this. There's a rant about this. I clearly don't like it. No. The Discomfort of Evening, this was a reread. I say yes. Just be prepared to be grossed out, but also be confused because the writing is stunning. So you're having like a very interesting time reading it, because you're like, I'm disgusted, but I'm loving it. Really good. Yes, yes, yes. An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. I did really enjoy this one. I say read this. It gives me like a little bit of dark academia, Sylvia Plath vibes, but it's got like vampire vibes to it too. And I enjoyed it. Aidnan, I'm really bad at saying this one. This is an epic poem that's translated from, I want to say, Norwegian. I will correct, editing Alyssa will correct me if I am wrong. I thought this was really great. I just wish it was a little bit more lyrical in terms of how the poem itself is written, but what the poem is written about the indigenous people across like Scandinavia, I think it's phenomenal. A Quarter Life Crisis is written by my friend Emily. I thought this was a lovely collection of poems about this period in your life that can be quite difficult. It's a strange transitional period that after college, before you really feel like you're an adult, weird gray period. So it was a nice little collection. The Enchanted April. I liked this. I just wish the ending had been different. It's made me want to go live like in Tuscany in a house with some friends and just leave all the menfolk behind and enjoy myself. But then like they all make up with their menfolk, and I was kind of like, you know what? I wanted you to all realize that you don't need to be a slave to like patriarchy, but whatever. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. It was a different time when this was written. Avocation by S.T. Gibson. It's a soapy, polyamorous love story with magic, and it was a good time. I enjoyed myself. I say yes. Having and Being Had, definitely a yes, because it's on my nonfiction list for the year. Good material. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people like praise this, and like it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I really enjoy Dolly Alderton's writing, and I find it very just pleasing, and I enjoy her books. I find them relatable. They can be funny. They have that sort of millennial romance thing kind of going on, but I don't think they're like special. So I say, like, yes, read it, but I don't think there's anything really groundbreaking here. Not every book has to be groundbreaking. Ship of Magic, yes, this was fun. The Live Ship Traders is a fun trilogy, let me tell you. The Hearing Test was one of the first books I read for Dakota Johnson's book club, which is escaping me right now what it's called. There's a few of them that I read this year, and they've all been very good. The Hearing Test was interesting. I think it's really good debut. I would recommend it, but I feel like to the right person. I feel like it might be a little too pretentious. So if you don't mind pretentious writing, go for it. But it's basically about a woman who loses hearing, but she's also like a composer, I think. So like hearing isn't just like, oh, I lost my hearing. And it's not like she loses it. It's like this weird buzzing. So she can't hear everything. She can really just hear this like sound in her head. It's interesting. Yeah, I say record. Yeah, go for it. Read it. Do it. Do it. May. Let's go May. Lore of the Wilds. I DNF'd this. No. Mary Nat Cassidy, yes, yes, yes. Euphoria, Lily King, yes, I really enjoyed this. No, The Ministry of Time. I did a reading vlog for this. I mean, I guess it's fine. Like, it's a popcorn book, but like, no. Gardens of the Moon, I'm going to say, unless you like really like this kind of stuff, just skip Malazan. You don't need it in your life. It's too much work. It's too much. I've been too tired from reading Gardens of the Moon to pick up the second one. Greek Love, yeah. Greek Love, no. Geek Love, loved this, read this. Talking at Night, I think if you like Sally Rooney for like the romance, read Talking at Night. But I think there's more to Sally Rooney than just the romance. It feels kind of like a blatant ripoff of a Sally Rooney like book. I didn't particularly like it. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like blown away. It's Not Hysteria. If you're a lady with lady parts, I would read this book because I don't think we get told enough about our bodies and what they do and how they work and how they dysfunction and function and all that. And this was phenomenal. This doctor really breaks down how to look at your symptoms, but also like how to talk to your doctor, which I think is great because we often get brushed aside in women's health. So yes. Spare Parts, Story of Transplant Medicine. I think it's fascinating. If that's something that interests you, yes. I think most of you would probably be like, no, that sounds boring as all hell. But I enjoyed it. Familiar, I enjoyed. It's like a fantasy fairy tale. I say read it. Icebreaker, please skip this. This was horrible. Horrible, horrible. I hate romance books where you have like 20 something year old, I'm spitting, that's how angry I am. I hate romance books where 20 something year old women who have like hopes and dreams and things that they're working for meet some guy, accidentally get pregnant at the end, and then put all of that to the side with like a smile. They're not even mildly annoyed that they're like no longer going to the Olympics. I hated Icebreaker. The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic, DNF, did not like. I don't know. It's boring. American Rapture by CJ Lead. Yes, 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 yes. Madship, yes. A Good Bad Boy. Honestly, the Luke Perry stuff was interesting, but the other parts of this where the author is talking about her own experiences, I really didn't care because I didn't read this to learn about someone I don't know about. I read this to learn about Luke Perry. So that all detracted from this biography memoir thing that she wrote. Perilous Undertaking, again, Deanna Rayborn. Yes. Where are we? June. Let's go to June. Near to the Wild Heart. Clarice Lispector. Yes. Tiamat's Wrath. Oh, I think I still have one more Expanse. I'm having a really hard time saying goodbye to the Expanse series. I really like this. I read this while I had COVID, though. Yes, to The Expanse, always. Once and Future Witches is a little bit slow at times. The pacing is funny, but I enjoyed generally the story. I'd say maybe. Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass. I don't really care for Lana Del Rey. I don't even know why I read this collection. It was terrible. Dayspring, you know I'm going to say yes. The Secret History, how have you not read it already? I feel like everybody who's ever watched a BookTube video has read The Secret History at this point. I mean, it's worth the read. It's not like my favorite book ever, but it's definitely worth the read. Yes, Committed on Meaning and Mad Women. I love this. I love this. I love this. Please read this. The Unfit Heiress, this tragic life and scandalous sterilization of Anne Cooper Hewitt. This is bonkers and it will take you into like sort of eugenics and all kinds of other stuff. And it's a trip. I mean, if you just want like a interesting ride of a nonfiction book, I would pick this up. Yes to Northanger. Yes to Outlander. I still have not done Dragonfly and Amber. I don't know why. I seem to just keep rereading Outlander and never going further. Mrs. Dalloway, always yes. Clear. I wish this book was longer. I really wish this went more into depth. I mean, it's beautifully written. It's got like things that I really love, but I wanted more. Maybe. I'm going to say maybe. A Good Life. Yes. Great story about siblings. July. Okay. Kazu Ishigaru's The Summer We Crossed Europe in the Rain. You don't need to read this, but it's a collection of song lyrics and beautiful pictures. I mean, if you do read it, just pick it up out of the library, or you can find a Spotify playlist of these jazz songs that he wrote. For the most part, they're all recorded now. I think there were a couple that weren't recorded at the time that I read this. If you like sort of bossa nova-y jazz, I think you'll enjoy this. 84 Charing Cross Road. Yes. Butcher. I say yes. It's my first Joyce Carol Oates. I enjoyed this. Katie hated this, but I enjoyed it. Orbital, honestly, I don't know. Do whatever you want. I like. There's nothing like really wrong with this book. I just don't think it's that. I don't know. I don't think it's that life-changing, but if it changes your life or it touches you in some way, phenomenal. Maybe I'm just too cold and dead inside for Orbital. I don't know. Safekeep, yes. Stoneyard Devotional, I'm going to say yes. I actually really enjoyed this. Absolutely not The Mysteries of Udolpho. Ship of Destiny, yes. Practice. Sometimes I think about this. Maybe for this one. The Book at War. This is really dry, but interesting. If you really like books and the history of books and things like that, it's interesting, but just so dry. So dry. Maybe. That's a maybe. Foster Dade, yes. Alphabetical Diaries by Sheila Heti, my first Sheila Heti, and it might be my only Sheila Heti that I read because I just enjoyed this weird little experiment. I'm going to say maybe. It's going to depend on if you want to read like some really weird experimental writing prompt that she basically makes into a book. All Yours by Claudia Pinheiro, yes. Margot's Got Money Troubles, yes. This is so good. Such a good book, especially if you're like going somewhere, like if you're getting on a plane, if you're going on a cruise, if you're hiding from the collapse of society, just read Margot's Got Money Troubles. It's funny. It's good. Yes, Lore Olympus, of course. No to Willow Heath's collection of horror stories. I don't think they were that good. Ex-Wife, yes. Pink Slime, yes. As long as you don't expect it to really be about a pandemic or a disease as much as it's about like the human connections you have and relationships and stuff like that. I really enjoyed this. Where are we? August? Meet the Georgians. If you don't know anything about Georgian England and you want like a little high level introduction to the main characters or some interesting main characters of Georgian England, and then maybe use that as like a jumping off point, yes. If you are some sort of more experienced historian or reader of this period, you can skip it. You probably won't learn anything new. Wandering Stars, Tommy Orange. Yes, I cried. Yes, please stop trying to leave me. Coventry, Rachel Cusk. You can skip this. Men Have Called Her Crazy. You can skip this. Monstrelio was good. I was expecting creepier, I guess. So I was a little bit disappointed based on my expectations going in. But if I try to separate that out, it's good. Agua Viva, yes. Praiseworthy, yes. Should have been on the Booker. Mansfield Park, yes. I have a new appreciation for this. Strange Eventful History, or This Strange Eventful, don't read it. It doesn't matter. Whatever it's called. Headshot. Oh my God, I hated this book. Enlightenment. Honestly, you can skip Enlightenment. I only read it for the Booker. I enjoyed myself, but like, it's not that special. Wild Houses. Do whatever you want. Eve by Kat Bohannon. Yes. Creation Lake. I hated this book. I know that some people really loved it, but I hated it. So I'm going to say no. My Friends, I say yes. Held, I say yes. The only reason why this didn't make it to my favorites was because it didn't stick with me the way The Safekeep did and some of the other books that happened to be longlisted for the Booker Prize this year. And I didn't want to have too many Booker books on my favorites. Cute, little, like emphasis on little, graphic novel from Emily McCosh, who is that indie author that I really like and back all their Kickstarters. The Lost Boy of Santa Chinoa. I probably said that. Chianoa. I mean, I guess it's fine. It's just like not my kind of book, I guess is what it is. If you like sort of historical fiction with a little bit of mystery in it, read this. Playground, absolutely not. I don't think I will ever read Richard Powers after reading this book. September. The Little Friend by Donald Tarr, yes. I Who Have Never Known Men, hell yes. I DNF'd Nick. I DNF'd. I can't say that. Nicked. I didn't enjoy this. I couldn't connect to it. I felt like I started in the middle of something or like I missed a brief on what the hell was going on. Anyway, The Day Death Stopped by Rebecca Thorne. I just enjoyed this. This was fun. This was a good breath of fresh air. Victory Parade, really great graphic novel. Yes to this. The Nightgast, I thought it could be better. Honestly, I think the author needed to do a little bit more with this. I like the way it's structured. There's a lot of really good, and then the ending just kind of falls off for me, and I ended up being very unsatisfied. Liars, loved this. Soldier Sailor, I loved this. Why was this not on my best books? I don't know. Great book about motherhood and sort of the loss of self after motherhood and trying to like grapple with all of that. Owls Do Cry by Janet Frame. Phenomenal. Read this, please. I need to read more Janet Frame. I mean, this woman was like about to be lobotomized and then she got a short story collection published and like they were like, oh wait, maybe she doesn't need a lobotomy. No shit. Anyway. Swallow the Ghost by Eugenie Montague. This is the debut and I really want to know what else she writes. This was interesting. It gave me like hints of trust in the way that it was like structured and it talks about like who speaks for victims and some stuff about dementia. I actually really enjoyed this. There Are Rivers in the Sky by Alif Shafak. Yes. Mad Women's Ball. You can skip it, honestly. Yes to Intermezzo. The Princess of 72nd Street. If you like books about kind of unhinged ladies, I say read this. This is interesting. It's going to make you think about some things. But yeah, I say yes. Oh God, we're getting closer. October, A Sunny Place for Shady People. I like this short story collection. I say yes. Lacrimore, yes. Great, haunting. Lady Audley Secret, phenomenal. Please read. The Impusium, loved. Little Rot, loved. So those are all yeses. Jane Austen in Crime, heck yes. The Girls, yeah. The Next Best Fling is a book one of my friends wrote, and she has the second one coming out. Cute little romance if you're in the mood for one. Do enjoy. Yes, if you want a romance. Model Home by Rivers Solomon. I love their writing. I loved this book. I say yes. I know that it's gotten some flack on the internet, but I enjoyed myself, and that's all I can speak to. A Dance to the Music of Time, the first movement. I've got 3 more to go this year. Loved this. If you like epic stories about war, political changes, the world, if you liked Evelyn Wow, if you liked, I can't say that person's name, I don't know why. Apparently if you like Proust, like this is the kind of story for you. I am enjoying myself. It's good. It's a lot, but it's good. The Entangled Life. Yes, I love me some mushies. I love my mushrooms. Yes. The Woman Destroyed. Heck yes. So good. I need more de Beauvoir in my life. How to Read Literature Like a Professor was just an interesting read for me and my journey as somebody who talks about books online with absolutely zero credentials for doing so. And then The Victorian Chaise Lounge. I really enjoyed this. I think this is just an interesting sort of mid-century horror novel written by a woman, and I enjoyed it. It was sort of a delight. Blue Sisters, you can skip this. I found this so boring. Natural Magic, Emily Dickinson, Charles Darwin, and the Dawn of Modern Science. Maybe. It depends on if that's something you're going to enjoy. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. It's interesting how these two sort of intersect. Rejection, heck yes. Reminiscences of a Student's Life is interesting, but now I want to read Mary Beard's biography of Jane Ellen Harrison because this just gives you like a taste of her. It's her little memoir. It gives her like, you get like a little like, I'm exposed to Jane Ellen Harrison and sort of her wit and her interests, and I really want to know more about her. So I may read a biography about her. Cobalt Red, yes, very important. Please read. Reading Lolita and Tehran, yes, please. A Room of One's Own, yes. But I've said this a bunch before. I think this is a really important essay in sort of feminist canon and has its place and should be read. In the Garden of Spite, fun historical fiction about like the first female serial killer in the US, art monsters, unruly bodies and feminist art. I enjoyed this, but this is going to be pretentious. And if you don't want to read a pretentious book about art, skip it. But I enjoyed myself. Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking. I really liked this. It's my first Didion, and I feel like I should have read something else first so that I understood her more, because this is obviously a very personal novel. It's not a novel, but a very personal book about her losing her husband and her daughter being quite sick at the time as well. It's an interesting introduction to Didion, and I hope to explore more from her this year. Emma, yes, despite the fact that I don't really like Emma compared to the other Austens, it's like, how do you pick a favorite child? Fool's Errand, really loved. Need to keep going with this series. I am two. This is the third trilogy in Realm of the Elderlings. I'm making my way through. I'm making my way downtown. All right. Guard Your Daughters. You can skip this. It's really well written, but like the payoff isn't there. It just needed to be more sinister. Dead Relatives could this collection didn't do it for me. It's a horror collection. There were some that were really good. A lot of them really just didn't feel complete. Yeah, the pickle one's good, where you pickle your like dead relatives. That one's good. The Nanoquitch by Henry Bean. This was interesting to read along with some friends. Maybe it's not going to be for everybody, but it's definitely like, I don't think I've read a lot from sort of the late 60s, and this kind of is in that period. So maybe we're going to stick with maybe. On to December. I forgot that I read some of these things. Okay. Black Chalk. Honestly, I think you can skip it. I didn't enjoy it that much. Yes to the Christmas Carol. More Lore Olympus. Yes. Fever Dream. Heck yes. This was so good. Notes of a Crocodile. Yes. So good. This is how you lose the time war. I'm going to say maybe because it is a little bit weird in how it's structured and the way it plays with time. And it can be a little bit flowery, so it's not going to be for everybody, but I did enjoy it. Blankets, skip this graphic novel. Joan, if you have any interest in Joan of Arc, I think this is a good historical fiction. I don't know enough about Joan of Arc to say if it's actually really that good, though. So if you know a lot and you've read this and it's a terrible representation of Joan of Arc, tell me in the comments so I can stop saying I would read this. Thank you. A Separate Piece. Honestly, like, it's short, so if you want to read it, do it. But I don't think that it's fine. I think it's a little out of date at this point, and you can read like a different kind of dark academia coming of age story. Flaubert's Parrot. If you really like Flaubert, read this. It did make me want to read more from Julian Barnes, but I don't really know much or care much about Flaubert at this point in my reading journey. So yeah, some things went over my head. Yes to Interpreter of Melodies. Heck yes. No to Lies and Sorcery. This was torture. I did not enjoy this. Yes to Time of the Flies. We always say yes to Claudia Pinheiro. The Bog Wife. Skip this. Jane Fairfax. Skip. I DNF'd it, so definitely a skip. Terra Nostra by Carlos Fuentes. If you liked Gravity's Rainbow, and if you like books kind of like that like modernist, or is it postmodern? It's postmodern, I think. I don't know, whatever, that like bizarre writing that you feel very lost, but also somehow you can't stop reading because there's so many random moments of just beauty, but you're also going to be grossed out every few pages. I would read Terra Nostra. It's definitely a project, and I do need to reread it, but at a slower pace because I read it too quickly. I'm going to say maybe. Stoner, I'm going to say yes. And then I want you to tell me what you think about how he treats Edith. Winter's Tale, I'm going to say maybe because it's a little bit wacky, and it might not be wacky in a way that everybody's going to like. I'm Being Ill, Virginia Woolf. I think you can skip this essay. I don't think it really adds much. French Exit, funny. If you want a good laugh, I would read this. The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, yes. The Echoes, heck yes. Persuasion, always. And that's everything I read. I think that's everything I read. That is everything. This is a very long video. I am very tired. I wanted to film 4 videos today. We are on video 2. I don't know if I will make it to 4. I might just do one more and then save my reviews for another day where I have brain cells. But yeah, if you've read any of these books, please let me know. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Yeah, that's it. I'm going to shut up. This has been long enough. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want, like talk about books for way too long.